Now then, let's get into this news story. Apparently, Jewish attacks still on the rise, so we'll see what Channel 4 have to say about it.
Contained, but the attack on Kenton United Synagogue in Harrow is just the latest on the Jewish community in London. It was a police reassurance patrol that spotted smoke coming from inside the synagogue's medical room around midnight. A bottle of accelerant had been thrown through the window.
Bottle of accelerant, eh? Very interesting way to describe it. And I will just say, I'm not in favour of anybody, committing these sort of violent acts in the UK. I'm, completely against it. I know that they're just probably going to attract a certain group of people that want to say horrendous things about other human beings, surely based on religion and ethnicity. But, I'm not here for it, to be fair.
Though the main synagogue was unaffected, it was cordoned off. So the community gathered elsewhere to pray this morning.
It's a strong community, and we are undeterred by what has taken place. I think if we were afraid and we said, I'm not going to go to shul, I'm not going to go to the synagogue because of what's taken place, then I think you've helped them to win. Don't let them win.
The Prime Minister called the...
Yeah, I would agree there. Nothing wrong with what you just said. Let me know if you think he's wrong in the comments.
The latest attack abhorrent, saying on X, it will not be tolerated. Attacks on our Jewish community are attacks on Britain. The first in a string of recent attacks began early on the 23rd of March.
Yeah, I'm sure all the hearing stories about this.
When 4 Jewish community ambulances were set alight in Golders Green. But they've escalated this week. Petrol bombs were thrown at a synagogue in Finchley on Wednesday, and the Iranian opposition TV channel, Iran International, was targeted in West London. 2 days later, a man tried to set fire to a property previously used by a Jewish charity in Hendon. Then,
don't believe your lying eyes, eh? Don't let your pattern recognition let you observe what's occurring
last
here.
night, this attempted firebomb attack on Kenton United Synagogue in Harrow. Most have been claimed online by a group called the Islamic Movement of the Companions of the Right, which has also claimed similar attacks across Europe in recent months. The Metropolitan Police said it...
It's so exhausting, and because all we just keep doing is ignoring it. And yeah, I mean, if I had to choose any of the two religions, I'm definitely going to choose Jewish community over the Muslims, to be fair. I'm of the firm opinion that, well, Islam is not strictly Satanism. It is a deviation away from Christ. Consequently, it is on the enemy's path still, and the enemy is still happy enough to have Islamic people believe their Quran because it pulls them off God's true path.
Was considering whether the group's tactics, effectively using thugs for hire, were at play here, and warned that anyone tempted by the offer of easy money could face a long prison sentence.
This is recruiting violence as a service, and the people who conduct that violence often have little or no allegiance to the cause and are taking quick cash for their crimes.
Yeah, definitely. It's both. It's money and it's ideological as well. I would almost think that the money is merely a hidden bonus for the people that are sort of committing these attacks. I mean, I can't prove that, but I would, I think that's a safe assumption, to be honest, with the kind of people that do commit these sort of attacks.
To anyone even considering getting involved in that type of activity, my message to you is this: ask yourself, is the risk really worth the reward?
The Deputy Commissioner, Matt Jukes, said it wasn't acceptable that the Jewish community has to live behind locked gates and high fences.
London is better than this. We should be standing alongside our neighbours.
I mean, London should be better than this. I mean, obviously proven otherwise in the past decade or so. I mean, it often shocks people who come to the UK that I talk to being a northerner when they learn that I've only been to London once. I don't really have any huge desire to visit it again. And I'm sorry for people that live in London that might take that a bit personally, but me, London has always seemed to be like a bit of a hellhole. And I'm sure, it being called the Big Smoke, well, I know that it came from the Industrial Revolution and stuff, I can imagine it's always been a sort of like, hellish environment that's not particularly too fun. I mean, it wasn't too bad when I went to London, to be fair, but, again, no huge desire to go back at the minute.
We need Londoners to be vigilant, to support those who are being targeted. We need people to speak out against anti-Semitism.
The Met said it had already stepped up resources in northwest London, adding thousands of additional patrols.
Well, I'm joined now from Manchester by the former Labour MP and the Vice President of the Jewish Leadership Council, Dame Louise Ellman. Thanks so much for joining us this evening. Give me a sense of what the Jewish community is feeling right now.
I know people are going to be calling me a Zionist here. I literally have no dog in the fight between Israel and its immediate enemies. I'd rather just stay out of it. But, I do think it's worth pointing out that these sort of attacks, and they're not cool. I don't think that it's just to go targeting minority groups within the country.
There's a very strong feeling of unease and concern in the Jewish community. People feel quite rightly that something pretty fundamental has changed. We've always felt very secure as Jews, British Jews, secure in our community, secure in our country. Yet something is different. After 2 years of marches screaming hatred towards Jewish people in our streets, we now see people actually being killed.
Yeah. And people don't like to admit this, but obviously if you allow these sort of extreme elements to go unchecked, they will keep ratcheting up the intended consequences that they wish to inflict out. They will try to start initiating the things that they've only been saying they're going to do, start acting on them, tolerating them being so extreme. I do think that anybody who's showing these extreme tendencies should be just like out. I know that's easier said than done, and we can't potentially just make people stateless. But at the same time, we can maybe use the Ascension Island, just send all the extremists there, live on their own little commune. See you later, chaps.
Murders, terrorist murder at Heaton Park Synagogue in Manchester. Now it seems to be almost daily in London, Hendon, Gilders Green, all parts of London where synagogues, Jewish organisations are being attacked, and people just feel something is different. But they also feel that something more needs to be done about it. And it's not good enough simply to berate what's happened. Action should be taken, and that should be more fundamental than what's happening now.
And the Metropolitan Police issued very strong statements today saying, they're stating their determination to make sure that the Jewish community would feel protected. What do you make of the fact that they are considering that this may be to do with Iranian proxies?
Yeah, I think that's completely believable. I'm not going to say it absolutely is, but I think it's more likely than not that it is Iranian proxies.
This isn't new. It's been known for a very long time that the Iranian Revolutionary Guards and other Iranian organisations are active in Britain, may not be directly, but through their proxies.
And we certainly haven't helped that by letting in infinity people over there on in these dinghies. In a complete shit show, and now we're potentially going to face the consequences of it. I have faith that God will guide us through this. If you want to see, if you believe me that God is going to guide us through this potentially very turbulent time, then feel free to subscribe and hit that like button. For
a long time now, people have been calling for the prohibition of the Iranian Revolutionary Guards for something much more than the weak action that's currently proposed against them. And only last May, the government's independent reviewer of terrorism legislation, Sir Jonathan Hall, suggested some specific actions that could be taken. The government agreed with them, but yet nothing has happened. So I think we now need action on that. Policing needs to be stepped up, as indeed it has been. That must be continued. But we must look deeper than that, look at what is actually happening through Iran and its agents on the streets of Britain.
I mean, there's quite a complication here, isn't there?
Yeah. Completely agree. And I'm not going to labour the point anymore with this interview anyway, because it's a bit dull, to be honest. So I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for dropping by. Real, I suppose.